So what's going on now?
I just lit the pilot. We put a new thermocouple and we put a new pilot on. So now we're going to see how this works. Now I started to say before that I was going to show you about making this thermocouple tube nice and neat. So see, I always like to leave these. So come up here to this valve now. See, I'm going to put that on. This thermocouple, you hear the flame, it's still going. And then come back up here to the gas valve.
There, you can see it right through there. There's the pilot. And how's that flame compared to before?
Beautiful. Alright, now come up here to the gas valve and I'm going to switch this to the on position. Watch the flame come up.
There it is.
Nice and clean. Okay? Now, so we adjusted the pilot, so we're going to put this screw back because it's a pilot adjust setting. It's inside here. So, whoop, drop the screw. The screw went underneath there.
There's the screw. So you were telling me about the fan limit switch?
All right, by the way, here, this plate goes over top of this. It's a plate that covers the fan limit switch.
What does the fan limit switch do?
What it does, see, they're always like that. It's a sensor. It's inside the furnace, and it tells the fan when to come on. Now, if you see it there, that's a fan limit switch, and it's set to come on at 200 and go back off at 200 degrees and go back off at 150 degrees. So you can see it moving, and as the furnace is heating up, as the heat exchanger is heating up, that fan limit switch is turning just ever so gradually, and you'll notice there when it hits that line around 200, the fan should come on. And if it just comes on perfectly, that means our job is a success. Okay, just for the fun of it, that's the ugly old filter that came out of there. And now we're going to replace it. Let's get that out of here. With this brand new 16 by 24 1 inch 16 by 24 by 1 inch Furtus filter. Now I'm wanting to show you on this filter, normally there's an arrow on there, and you can see it says right there, it says airflow, and that tells you that it's going that way. So if you watch, we're going to put it into the furnace, put it here on the cold air return. That's where normally a filter is, and the air is flowing that way. It's coming from the furnace all the way through the system and all the way back around and back that way. So the air current is that way. Alright, now we're replacing the capacitor in this furnace also. That's that silver box at the top. If you remember, we said the capacitor is the electrical device that stores energy for the first surge that it needs to start the fan motor or the blower motor. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the old capacitor off first. Well, we took the plate off, the front plate. Now slide it out of there. Did you turn the power off to this stove, this furnace?
Power's off.
Okay, so first we turned off the power at that switch at the top so you don't touch that capacitor and get zapped on your behind. Okay, so you're going to take off these two plugs.
You can just jiggle them off of there a little bit.
Okay. Alright, there goes the old capacitor. Here's the new one. Set that there. It's a little smaller if you notice. See, so it's not going to fit in exactly the same slot as before. You see, it's just smaller. So we're going to do something just a little different. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it inside the box. Just right there. Okay, and that'll keep it safe and keep it out in the open. And we're going to we're going to connect these wires to the top of the capacitor, same way as the other one was connected. And you just put the wires on. There's a little clip at the end of the wire. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tape each one of these with some black electrical tape. And that's so that those metal parts there won't ever touch anything else metal and short out or electrocute somebody. So we're just putting black electrical tape around the wires and the metal connections.
And you want to, so it doesn't matter which wire goes on each terminal.
in this case. There's one goes on one goes on the other, but they are interchangeable. But you do want to make sure that when you take off the old capacitor that you don't touch both ends. And if you just run a metal screwdriver and touch both ends, you'll discharge any surge of any electricity that was in there. You don't want to get zapped. You hear the pilot still.
Pilot's still on. Everything's running properly in this furnace. We're just going to connect up this capacitor and pretty much turn it on and get it working. Okay, so tell me what you did. You got that all taped up real nice and neat, and there's no metal showing. Connections, nice, good, solid mechanical connection. And you're just going to slide it in there up underneath the inside the junction box. Okay, and then I think when you put the cover back on that box, it's going to keep it from moving.
And let's turn it on and see how it works. Sounds smooth.
Working properly. Okay, that's good. Okay, so our junction box cover is back in place, and so we're just gonna put some other pieces back, and we'll be right back with you. All right, here we are at the back of the furnace. We didn't show you all that much of the back of the furnace, but this is the heat exchangers exposed, and what we're gonna do is put the piece back, the cover that covers the back of the furnace. We just took it off to clean it. Okay, go ahead, put it in.
And at the top, where the plenum is, it's going to slide up under this sheet metal. Where this tongue is on the top of it. And there's a couple screws that hold it in.
Okay.
So, if you bear with me, we're going to try to finesse this in. Trouble with it.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. We painted it with the gold hammered paint. That helps cover any old imperfections. Just gonna get it all in place and then put the sheet metal screws back in. Finishing touches. On the screws.
What's that tapping sound I just heard?
It's a self-tapping screw, so it drills through the metal without using a drill bit first.
But when I hear that tapping, when the drill starts tapping, what does that mean?
Oh, this is an impact driver. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean.
This is the new.
In other words, it just starts tapping instead of continuing to drive that screw in and bending the metal. It just stops, right?
Well, this is the new DeWalt impact driver. If I was giving you a commercial on it, so it's like when you're putting lug nuts on a car, when you hear that beep beep.
Yeah.
It's the same Same idea.
Mm-hmm. Let them see it one more time.
Well,
So it looks like you have that furnace all wrapped up and put back together. So turn the switch on here, and here comes the gas. And we're just going to sit here a little bit and kind of watch it run for a little bit. Kind of what you do after you rebuild the furnace. Okay, so you're going to put the last piece on now, the bottom piece. Actually, it's not the last piece because the last piece we're getting made, right?
yep, we're getting it fabricated at a metal shop. There's a door that's missing,
Okay.
and this just slides over the bottom. Slides down. A little tap. Make sure it's in there good.